Hey everybody, welcome back to Inside Tiger Football, brought to you by Rib Crib. I'm Adam Hildebrandt alongside Tiger Football head coach Josh Blankenship. Going to break down a little bit of the game last week and then obviously look ahead again to Westmoore for homecoming on Friday. So coach, let's kind of start with the not as great stuff and then we'll move to that comeback a little bit. What kind of went down over the course of those first three quarters against Norman North that allowed them to kind of build that lead?
We gave them life. We kind of sleptwalked through the first three quarters. You can think that we did some good things on offense, but ultimately we had 7 points at the first half. We shot ourselves in the foot on offense, whether it be penalty, not converting a fourth down, not converting a third down, or turning the ball over on a third down. Just add them up, and a lot of lack of success. Defensively, we were not the aggressors. We just waited and reacted, and when you do that on defense, you're not going to find success. So it was about as ugly as it could get for three quarters.
Yeah, especially with some of that option read stuff. If you're reacting to that and allowing them to be the aggressor, that becomes a real challenge.
Yeah, that's what's irritating is they didn't do anything that we hadn't worked. So there weren't any surprises. You'll get those occasional games where somebody comes out and throws the kitchen sink at you and, every gadget in the book, and that just wasn't the case. We weren't ready to play and got exposed.
So what changed? What flipped the script? Because you guys were kind of working your way back through that third quarter, and then obviously that fourth quarter, you guys pretty well dominated.
Yeah, I think we just started playing football, but you can't wait till the fourth quarter to do that and expect to go win games, let alone make a run, let alone go win a state championship. So we've got to grow up in a hurry, and I think we're going to do that, but we'll talk about that more later.
You mentioned some offensive issues in the first half in terms of hitches that kind of stalled some drives and things like that. Obviously really turned it on in the second half. What went well? What allowed you guys to be successful on the offensive end?
We just did us. I know it's cliche coach speak that I say every week, but if we're too worried about the opponent, what the opponent's doing, that's where we have issues. Where we find success is when we're doing our stuff and executing our jobs. We were doing that for the most part on offense, and then you'd get into get a touchdown taken back for a holding call or fumbling a ball on a third down. Just critical mistakes where we're shooting ourselves in the foot. Again, credit to Norman North for coming out and being ready to play, and we weren't.
You had several big long runs in that game, including Cooper Bates. Did y'all know he was that fast?
Yeah, I mean, that's why he does the things that we do with him, and especially at the quarterback position. He's always a threat to run. A lot of times just the threat to run or the threat to pull it gives you a more honest box. So, yeah, we're fully aware of what Coop can bring, and that's why he's playing as much as he is.
How important was scoring quickly on a couple of those possessions in the third quarter? Because Norman North was still scoring. So is that kind of what allowed you guys to stay close enough to eventually be able to come back and tie it?
Oh, I mean, when are you not trying to score? I mean, to say score quickly, I mean, we've always got those shots in our back pocket that we're going to take, but those long runs that pop, you hope they all pop. So it's not like you're scripting this one's going to go 80. We call that draw for Coop, and it goes 80. We thought it'd be successful. To think that it's going to go 80 is a little, exaggerated. But yeah, I mean, you're always trying to score. We're always trying to score fast. Unless it's the end of the game, you're trying to run the clock out. That's always the agenda, is to put the ball in the end zone.
Joshua Willhite has a TD catch on the year. He's going to catch up with us here in a little bit. He's also caught 16 passes now, which I think is second most on the team at this point. What does he add to the passing game from that tight end spot?
He's sneaky. He's probably our best overall player on the team, to be honest with you. He's undervalued. He plays a position that's kind of disguised, hidden, at the tight end spot because he's blocking so much. What he does in the passing game, obviously when he gets the ball, he catches everything you throw to him. He's undervalued in his route running. But what he does playmaking wise in critical moments, he always gets you that extra 2 to 3 yards. Once he's had contact, he's unbelievably physical. I just can't say enough about that dude. His leadership and the toughness, and if there's we talk to the guys all the time about emptying the tank and pouring everything out. That guy is dead at the end of every game. I mean, he maxes out every time he goes on the field.
Nate Jones is another guy who's going to join us here shortly. We talked quite a bit about his pass protection and what he brings to the table there. When he is running the football his best, what are those characteristics? What is he doing well?
Well, you saw one. He broke out on a long run, and nobody touched him. He was able to really turn on the jets. I think people forget that he was second or third in the 100 in state track last year. People forget how fast he is because he is so physical. He's compact. He's hard to take down. He's muscled up. He's got good weight on him. But when he gets in that open field and explodes, you can really see his speed.
How do you want to see him, or how do you help him balance being physical, because he does like to be physical, with putting a move on a guy and then trying to use the speed to get around somebody?
Yeah, you don't have to coach him a whole lot on those things. It's very instinctive for him. He's got the right mindset of not dancing in the wrong times. If we coach those running backs on anything, it's you don't dance in the backfield, you don't dance in the hole. The O-line's goal is to get a running back to the safety. We'll take care of the box and we'll get you to a safety. So what he does on a safety or what he does in the open field once he's gotten through the box, that's where he's special. But he's instinctive in hitting it hard and fast, and then what he does in the open field is special.
What does the offense need to improve on this week?
Consistency, not shooting ourselves in the foot. We're doing a lot of good things on offense, and it's not an offense versus defense versus special teams kind of discussion. But the offense is really close to clicking on all cylinders. It's a matter of not being self-destructive.
That's Broken Arrow Tiger football head coach Josh Blankenship. We'll be back with more in just a moment. This is Inside Tiger Football, brought to you by Rib Crib.
Right now, get $200 from TTCU Federal Credit Union when you open a new checking account with direct deposit. What would you buy with $200?
Cars, race cars, my own apartment, 100 coloring books, and a puppy.
Or maybe some groceries and a tank of gas. $200 for whatever works for you from TTCU, because life is better in balance.
Welcome back. It's Inside Tiger Football, brought to you by Rib Crib. I'm Adam Hildebrandt, again joined by Tiger football head coach Josh Blankenship. Flipping over to the defensive side, obviously there were some struggles there last week. When you guys went down and went back and broke things down on film, what did you see?
We're pretty disappointed. We didn't play hard. We didn't play with fanatical effort, and that's the baseline starting point. If we're not going to play hard, we're not going to be the aggressor. No scheme matters at that point. Our scheme was great. Our plan was great. Coach Mon and his staff had a really good plan in place. We had a great week of practice. So the way we came out and as flat as we were, obviously disappointing, but it was surprising. I probably didn't appreciate enough what Elisha Wilson and Dietrich Moore brought to that group as far as presence, intensity, physicality, aggression. So we're certainly glad to have those guys back going into this game.
Yeah, and how important is it for them to set a tone physically early in the game? I mean, you'd like to see that from anybody, but to have somebody specifically on the defensive side who can kind of be an enforcer early, get a big hit, get some energy going.
That's huge. I mean, it's that's the game of football. I mean, it's an aggressive, violent. People don't like to talk about it, but it's a violent sport, and if you don't set the tone and you don't establish the way the game's going to go, you're going to be the one receiving on the receiving end of that. So it's critical. You've got to set the tone. You've got to have those guys that are going to say, this is the way we're playing. And you got to have that leadership. And so, it's not an excuse not to have those two guys last week, but I am excited to have those guys back.
The quarterback, 6-killer, was able to break some big runs.
Yep.
You said it wasn't something that necessarily was different scheme-wise than what they were doing. So what kind of led to that?
Just not being where we're supposed to be or playing the way we're supposed to play. Just waiting to see what they're going to do as opposed to initiating the physicality and playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage. That guy's very talented. We knew that. And we knew their running back was talented. We knew they were huge up front on the O-line. But that's not the first time we've seen a really good offense. It was the first time that we didn't that we were not the aggressors.
Fourth quarter, obviously you were able to get some stops. You forced a fumble. The only 2 3-and-outs of the game were on their last 2 drives of the game. So what did they get more physical? What changed in that fourth quarter?
Yeah, I don't know if it was the fact that we were pulling in close and guys started kind of sensing a little bit of some magic or a spark. That stuff is contagious. So maybe the little bit of momentum that we had or felt maybe sparked a little bit more effort. But we're certainly capable of it, and that's why I'm not discouraged. There's a difference between being disappointed and discouraged. I still love our group, and I'm fully aware of what we're capable of. And they've had another great week this week, so expectations remain high.
That kind of answers my next question because, that was quite an emotional roller coaster. Obviously, It was not fun for 3 quarters. You have this, great moment where you come back and get it to overtime and then fall in overtime. Have they reacted well from the emotional and mental standpoint of that?
They have. I mean, I've said this, even before we played one game, this might be my favorite group I've ever coached. I mean, they're unbelievably coachable. They work their tails off every time we go out there. For whatever reason, and we've evaluated it as coaches and addressed it as a coaching staff, but for whatever reason, our guys were not ready to play on game night last week, and we're not going to let that happen again.
That's Broken Arrow Tiger football head coach Josh Blankenship. We'll be joined by a couple of players when we return in just a moment. This is Inside Tiger Football, brought to you by Rib Crib.
Recently, you've had to put your life on hold, and we're with you in this. At Ascension St. John, we're now open for appointments, and we are fully prepared for your safety in our care. As we open our doors again, our doctors, nurses, and care teams will continue to wear personal protective equipment. We've taken even more steps to clean and stringently disinfect all areas. We will maintain distancing in our waiting rooms, and will continue to limit visitors. And we will still screen all staff to protect their health and yours. Our emergency rooms are here 24/7. Please do not delay care. We're still delivering babies and performing surgeries. And we're open for your appointments, from specialists and surgical care to routine care and health screenings. Ask us about virtual visits. Ascension St. John continues to care for you, as we have been for almost a century. Thank you for trusting us.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Inside Tiger Football. Adam Hildebrandt, Josh Blankenship back with you. We've got a couple new guests with us now. We got Nate Jones and Josh Wilhite, who are here helping us out and going to answer a few questions for us here in our player segment. So, Nate, let's start with you. How did you get into football? At what point did you kind of fall in love with the game?
I think it was about like 5th grade. I watched Marshawn Lynch run the ball, and then I decided that I wanted to run the ball.
That seems fair enough. Well, that answers another question I had for you, which was, who was your favorite running back growing up? Why did you like watching Marshawn Lynch?
Just never went down. He was always running.
I don't remember who that iconic play was against, but when he ran through like 8 guys and then dove backwards into the end zone. Did you learn from his style? Like, have you tried to emulate that to a certain extent?
Yeah, a little bit. I tried just running people over, but at times it doesn't work. But
Marshawn was big into the Skittles. You got anything like that?
When I first started, yeah, and then by halftime I was all like tired and because the sugar got me.
That didn't work out as well as you thought. Have you driven any carts around the field or anything like that? Are you familiar with that video from when he was in college?
Yeah.
Yeah. No joy rides for you.
Saving that for college. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. That's probably a smart idea. What about away from football? What do you do off the field?
Really just work, and I started drawing a little bit more now.
Oh yeah, like on paper or on iPads, or what do you work with?
On paper.
Okay, I know I've seen a lot of people get into drawing on the iPads and so they take it everywhere with them. But that's cool. Do you like to draw anything in particular?
No, I just draw everything.
All right, sweet. All right, so that's Nate Jones, artiste in the making over here. Let's go to Josh. Josh, let's start. Same first question to you. How did you kind of fall in love with football, and when did you start to kind of get into the game?
I started about 4th grade. I really wanted to get into it because my dad played, and so I just kind of took it off from there.
Did your dad play here at Broken Arrow?
Yes, he did.
Okay, very nice. How did you end up becoming a tight end?
They kind of stuck me at it sophomore year, and I just rolled with it because I turned out to be pretty good at it.
What did you play before that, like when you were growing up and stuff?
Like fullback and linebacker mainly.
Seems like that would translate to being a tight end pretty well.
Good transition there.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Who is your favorite professional team and why?
The Chiefs. I've always liked them.
All right.
Been my favorite growing up.
Yeah, I mean, growing up in Oklahoma, we don't have an NFL team here in the States. So I feel like it's pretty much Cowboys or Chiefs. My dad was from Kansas City, so I'm a Chiefs guy too. So were you a fan in some of those leaner years also, or was it like once Patrick Mahomes showed up, you kind of started following along more closely?
We've always been fans of them.
Good deal. Not fair weather fans. I like that. What about you? What do you do away from football?
I'm mainly outside a lot, like hunting.
I never
fishing.
would have guessed that.
Yeah.
What do you like to hunt?
Ducks.
Ducks? I'm my man. I'd much rather sit in a duck blind and laugh it up with some people than have to sit silent in the deer blind. I'm more that route. What about fishing wise?
I like to fish a little bit, mainly ponds.
Okay.
If I
Very
get a
nice.
chance on the lake, I'll go.
Okay. Good deal. Well, you can find him in the blind and him drawing on any given weekend. But guys, good to get to know you a little bit better. Thanks for the time. Men of many words. We'll be back with more in just a moment. This is Inside Tiger Football, brought to you by Rib Crib.
For families who like to build their wealth while staying liquid, we have flexible rate CDs to keep your funds working hard, even when you're not. First National Bank of Broken Arrow. The right balance.
Welcome back one final time to this edition of Inside Tiger Football, brought to you by Rib Crib. I'm Adam Hildebrandt alongside Tiger Football head coach Josh Blankenship. Coach, we had a Thursday game last week. We go back to Friday this week for homecoming. So you get an extra day. How did you guys utilize that day over the course of this last week?
The players got to get a more of a traditional day after the game, kind of flush out the lactic acid, get a good stretch, a good stride out. Got back on schedule. We'd been a bye week, Thursday game, kind of routine. So back on routine, back on our regular lifting schedule. Coaching staff wise, we were able to get most of our work done on Friday, where you're kind of rushing on Saturday to get the plan ready for Sunday. So having that extra day is certainly helpful.
You got Westmoore coming here for homecoming. What have you seen from them in your prep this week?
Much improved team. I mean, they almost got us last year when we were at their place. If not for RJ getting a pick in the end zone to seal the win, they had us. They are much improved. Lorenzo Williams, their head coach, doing a great job with those guys. They're not very sneaky. They exactly what they're going to do on offense and defense, and they're just determined to get better and better and better at it every week. They've gotten much better physically. They've got some talented skill kids, but up front on both sides of the ball, they're very big, very physical. So we've definitely got another challenge, which that's 6A football for you every week.
You mentioned trying to get back to normal rhythm. You got homecoming this week, which does throw some additional things at you. How have the guys dealt with that this week?
They're handling it right. This is not a negative statement, but we talk about it within our group, within our team, that homecoming's for you when you're an alum. Right now we've got another game to go win, another district game to go win. When you're an alum, you come back to homecoming, you participate in everything, have a great time. And that's not to say that we don't take notice and enjoy what it is and how special homecoming is, but we're dialed in. We've got a game to play, and it's an important one, and so we're going to go get it.
That's Tiger Football head coach Josh Blankenship. 7 o'clock on Friday night for the homecoming matchup. We'll have it for you on AeroVision. Spav and Madison and I will be on the call. Coach, thanks for your time. We'll talk to you next week. That's this edition of Inside Tiger Football, brought to you by Rib Crib.